The Big Bubble Broadcasting Corporation.
It most certainly is. It's Wednesday afternoon. If you're listening to this live the first time around, this is Captain Steve down in Lanzarote for the last show. So I thought we'd make it a bit special, and we've invited a guest along. He's not with me. He's back in Whitstable, and it's Dave Fudge. How are you, Dave?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very good.
Lovely to be on the show.
Good. But now, you're not a local. That's not a local accent, man, is it?
No, I'm from Newcastle originally, but I've lived lots and lots of different places.
A Geordie boy.
I'm a Geordie boy, yeah. Well, with a little bit of Mackham.
Mackham in there as well.
Yeah. On words
you haven't
like
got a stroke of monkey hanger in there as well, have you?
No, none of that. No heart to pull.
So you've been around the music business for a while, Dave.
Yeah.
What have you done in the past that sort of? I know you've travelled. You're a well-travelled musician. Where have you sort of played in the past and bands you've been in?
Well, I mean, I guess I've got a couple of claims to fame. They're not brilliant ones, but I did play once on stage with Patti Smith, who spent the whole time spitting on the stage, which was a bit gross. That was a bit odd. I played at CB's when I lived in New York.
Nice.
Just generally done the toilet circuit, really. Nothing glamorous. Very, very hand to mouth. Played lots in London, played back in Newcastle. And played the illustrious Umbrella Centre here in Whitstable. I had a gig when we came out of lockdown briefly there. I was able to squeeze one in, so hoping to play back there again, really.
Yeah, well, there are a few venues. You're right. In your bio, you said you wanted to come to a town where there's music. There's no finer music town than Whitstable, and we got lots going on there. Going back to the
definitely.
CBGBs, we've got a great connection with the CBGBs because Artie LaMonica, who was with the Shirts and part of that scene, is a good friend of the station and comes on a regular basis. And we do a little tour of him when he comes over when we're not in lockdown. Through the southeast London and then across to Paris where they had their number one hit, Tell Me Your Plans. So I hope you're listening tonight, Arthur. We are talking about the CBGBs again. So you've played in bands and you played with other people. When did you start to sort of self-release like this? Because it's quite, I'd say a hot song at the moment. You're right on the money for the sound that's around at the moment. And not being rude, but you're not a youngster, are you?
No, I'll be 50 this year in May.
Wow.
But I feel like I'm just starting out. So yeah, I mean, I started out quite late on in my 20s in New York. Prior to that, I was in San Francisco, and I'd gone there to do an art degree, and ended up just staying. And became a musician, and then moved to New York and played in lots and lots of different bands. Started out doing like sort of world music meets free jazz, and then heard Oasis and didn't want to like them at first, but loved them, and then kind of whittled it down and played in loads of different bands there. I played in an all-girl punk band with me in the front there, and then came back to the UK in 2005. And had bands back up in Newcastle, and then moved down to London in 2017, and then met somebody from Whitstable, and then ended up in Whitstable. So, but in amongst all of that, I've always busked, so I was quite a prolific busker back up in Newcastle.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to get back out and do that once lockdown is eased here, and be on the harbour and stuff. That's kind of my plan.
What have you been doing in lockdown to keep yourself, if you like, musically connected?
Well, I mean, I was really lucky. I'm a school teacher, so I teach art and music at a school in Gillingham for my sins. And when lockdown came, it was like the first moment that I'd really had sort of a 6-month period. So prior to that, I'd stepped into the open mic for Rye up at the Rock Lodge.
Sure.
So Aaron had me along there, and met Matt Young, who's a bass player, and we just started tracking remotely the songs and just developing songs and bouncing them back via WeTransfer. So we managed to record, well over a whole album's worth, if albums still exist, which they don't really. So just a massive amount of time to devote to songwriting, really, which has been great. It's probably one. I mean, obviously, it's been kind of bittersweet lockdown for me because it's been such a productive time
Sure,
in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of songwriting. So I've been really, really grateful for that aspect of it.
Well, Dave, I'm sure we're going to have you on the show again because
Oh,
we're going
I'd
to talk
love
about
to.
more
Yeah,
of your music
definitely.
and we're going to get some. So all there is to do is to play the track that you sent us in that we really like. Matthew played it on his show the other day and it was a storm, really took a lot of people by surprise. So
Oh, thank you.
you're on the mic. Introduce your song.
Oh, what, you're going to play it?
Yeah, I'm going to play it now.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I didn't realise. I suppose that's how radio works, isn't it? All right. So this
Sort
song
of,
is-
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'm a fledgling to it. So this song's called "What Would You Do," and it's a song that I wrote for my friend Sally Madge, who was an artist back in Newcastle, who was sadly taken by COVID, and it was just a
sad.
song thinking about those people in your life that are sort of guiding lights, and about asking. You have those moments where you're not sure what you're doing in life, or you need to make decisions, and you sort of say, what would they do? So it's a song about that. It's just a celebration of those people that we've lost.
That's nice sentiment. Nice
Oh,
sentiment.
thank you so much.
And this is Dave Fudge.
It was brown, sunshiny morning, but it feels just like yesterday. The storm hit without warning, tore apart all that stood in its way. Yeah, we've lost brothers and yeah, we've lost friends, sisters and mothers put together again. No time to say goodbye, only amends. I didn't know that you were leaving. Take a walk down by the harbor. Watch the boats sailing on the bay. Now you're gone, life sure feels different, but I know just what you'd say. Yeah, we've lost brothers and yeah, we've lost friends, sisters and mothers put together.
What Would You Do? New release there from Dave Fudge, and Dave's living in Whitstable now, so hopefully we'll see him around once we get out of this bloody lockdown and get back to some live music and some real beer. I know we've got to be careful, but come on. I'm coming home. I've done my time. I want some beer and I want some live music. It's what the town's all about. It's what we're all about. It's not just people turning up with NOS canisters on the beach and cheap lager. We like good food, good booze, and good music. That's Whitstable.